Second, everything feels calm, and the next chaos takes over. Traffic, bad news, that person who knows how to push your buttons, the constant pressure. And there you are, stuck in a whirlwind of racing thoughts. Why is it so hard to stay calm? Why does it feel like your own mind is working against you? Here's the hard truth. If you don't train your mind, it will control you. But what if I told you there's a way to take back control, that there's a path, followed by some of the wisest people in history to find peace, even in the heart of the storm? Stoicism teaches us that peace doesn't depend on what's happening outside, but on how we choose to respond. Today, you'll learn how to train your mind to stay calm, even in the most chaotic moments. No matter what's happening around you, in the end, you only have two choices: control your mind, or be a slave to it. Before we begin, let me tell you the story of Tomas. Tomas was 33, had a more or less stable life, and one dangerous habit. He bottled everything up: work stress, hurtful comments, small and big disappointments. He kept quiet, kept going, as if nothing was wrong. But inside his head was a hornet's nest. Every night he came home and, without knowing why, would blow up over nonsense. The neighbors being loud, the mail didn't arrive, the toaster's not working, nothing serious. But all it took was a spark to make him explode. One summer night, everything boiled over. His partner said a simple sentence: "You're always angry." And then, boom, yelling, slamming doors, accusations flying. But that's not the surprising part. What's surprising is what happened next. Tomas stormed out, slammed the door behind him, and wandered the streets for hours. Around dawn, he sat down on a bench in a park and pulled out his phone without thinking, opened YouTube, and the first thing that popped up was a video with this phrase: "You can't control what happens, but you can control how you respond." It was a video about Stoicism. He had never heard of it before. Sounded strange, but since he had nothing to lose, he let it play. And that's where everything started. He didn't sleep that night. He stayed up watching videos, reading about Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. And for the first time in his life, something clicked. These weren't just pretty quotes, they were painful truths that set him free. It's not things that upset us, but our opinion about them. The more power something has over you, the weaker you are in front of it. Choose not to be hurt, and you won't be. Tomas realized something no one had ever taught him. Calm isn't a gift, it's a skill, one you train. From then on, he started making small changes. Before responding, he'd breathe. Before complaining, he'd observe. When he felt that tight knot in his chest, he'd go for a walk. Sometimes he messed up, of course, but something had changed. He was no longer a slave to his impulses. Anger still came knocking, but now he knew he didn't have to answer. And little by little, without anyone really noticing, Tomas became a different person. Someone who didn't react to everything. Someone who didn't need to yell to be right. Someone who understood that true control isn't something you show. It's something you feel on the inside. My friend, maybe you're not Tomas, but I'm sure you've had moments where your mind drags you places you don't want to go. And maybe, like him, you're about to discover that calm doesn't come when everything outside is fine, but when everything inside is steady. Today I'm going to teach you how to train that, so you don't depend on traffic, your boss, the weather, or other people's moods to be at peace. Today you're going to discover how to train your mind to stay calm even in chaos. And believe me, if Tomas could do it, so can you. Let's get started. Before we continue, if this content is bringing you value, consider subscribing and becoming an exclusive member to get access to unique perks. And tell us in the comments, what will you do today to take control of your mind? Or simply write, "I'm a Stoic. We want to grow together with you." 1. Who's in charge here, you or your mind? Let me guess. You've had those days when it feels like your own mind is working against you. You wake up ready to take on the world, but one small setback and everything falls apart. You make a mistake in an email and your mind starts whispering that you're a failure. Someone makes a rude comment and you spend half an hour replaying what you should have said. Or worse, someone cuts you off in traffic and suddenly you're angrier than when your favorite team loses the Champions League final. That's what the mind does when you let it run wild, like an untamed horse charging in every direction with no aim or reason. And if you don't train it, it'll drag you through the mud without mercy. It doesn't matter if your goal is to stay calm, make better decisions, or just live with less stress. Because if you don't take control of your mind, it will take control of you. Picture this. You're in a meeting, relaxed, having a calm conversation when suddenly someone drops a sharp comment, a venomous jab disguised as a joke. It hits like a punch to the ego. Your blood starts to boil, your heart races, and your head floods with clever comebacks to put that person in their place. But hold on, is that really necessary? Or is it just your mind pushing you to react without thinking? This is where you need to remember Epictetus. He said it clearly centuries ago. It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. Think about it. Was that comment really so bad? Or is it the meaning you chose to give it? Let's say someone tells you, "You could have done that better." You can take it two ways. If your mind goes into panic mode, you translate it as, "I'm incompetent, they must be disappointed in me." And suddenly, you're mentally digging through every mistake you've made in the last few months, sinking deeper into self-doubt. But what if you gave it a different meaning? What if it was just a neutral observation, an opportunity to improve, not an attack? The words are the same. The difference is in how you choose to interpret them. The real problem is most of the time we don't even notice our mind is messing with us. The amygdala, that primitive part of the brain wired to detect threats, reacts in milliseconds. The problem? It doesn't know the difference between a lion about to pounce and a passive-aggressive comment. To your brain, danger is danger, and that's why you need to train it. You can't let your mind run the show. Calm doesn't show up by magic. It's trained. It's strengthened. It becomes a habit. So, how do you take control? First, use the 3-second pause. Whenever something sets you off, take a deep breath and count. 1, 2, 3. That tiny pause is enough to let your rational brain step in before your instincts go off the rails. Second, rewrite the story you're telling yourself. Instead of thinking, "They disrespected me, I have to respond," say, "I'm not wasting my energy on this." It sounds simple, but it completely changes how the situation affects you. And third, activate observer mode. Imagine you're watching the scene from the outside, like it's a movie. How would the wisest, calmest character in history react? They wouldn't get rattled over something so small. My friend, if you don't take control of your mind, someone else will. And most of the time, that someone is the automatic reaction that ends up hurting you the most. So the next time anger, frustration, or fear come knocking, remember the reins are in your hands. It's up to you whether you use them or let your mind run wild. 2. Don't let anger make you lose. Picture yourself driving peacefully down the highway. Everything seems under control, until suddenly, the steering wheel starts turning on its own. You try to straighten it, but it won't respond. It jerks side to side like it has a mind of its own, speeding up and ignoring the brakes. Panic takes over because you're no longer the one driving. The car is taking you wherever it wants. That's what anger is like. 1 second you think you're in control, and the next you realize something else is calling the shots. It drags you along, makes you say things you didn't mean, react in ways you'll regret, and when you finally manage to stop, all that's left is damage. Because anger doesn't just throw your mind out of balance, it also pulls you away from what you truly want. Calm, clarity, the ability to handle anything without letting it knock you off center. If you need proof of how anger can wreck everything in a second, just look at Will Smith at the Oscars.
Everything was going great. It was his night. He was about to win the most important award of his career. Then Chris Rock made a joke about his wife. And what did Will do? Nothing. Because anger took over. He got up, walked straight to the stage, and without a second thought slapped him live in front of millions. One impulse out of control, 1 second where his mind grabbed the wheel without asking, and his public image went straight off a cliff. Years of respect and admiration gone because he didn't stop to think. Was it really worth it? Seneca made it clear centuries ago. The one who gets angry suffers more than the one who caused the offense. Because in the end, the person who throws the first jab forgets it in minutes, but you keep carrying the anger, replaying it over and over in your head. Seneca had a rule to avoid becoming a slave to anger. When someone tried to provoke him, he gave himself time before reacting. He knew the mind doesn't give the best advice when it's angry. So, how do you take back the wheel when anger tries to rip it from your hands? One of the most powerful things you can do is let it pass without grabbing onto it. Neuroscientist Jill Bolte Taylor discovered that anger, biologically, only lasts about 90 seconds. You're telling me you can't handle 90 seconds? Come on, some ads last longer. But you know what the problem is? In those 90 seconds, you feed the anger. You replay what happened, think about what you should have said, how unfair it was, and without realizing it, you've turned 1 minute of anger into hours, days, even weeks of resentment. So here's something you can try. Next time you feel that wave of heat rising, don't do anything. Just notice it. Count to 90 and breathe. If you don't hold on to it, it'll fade on its own. Moving also helps, a lot. Anger is physical. You feel it in your muscles, your rapid breathing, that tightness in your chest. If you stay still, it builds up and explodes at the worst moment. It's like a pressure cooker that needs to let off steam. Have you ever tried clenching your fists tightly and then slowly releasing them? It doesn't seem like much, but doing something physical takes the power away from the impulse. And here's another trick. Ask yourself, will this really matter in a week? In the moment, everything feels massive, final, unbearable. But with a little distance, you often realize it wasn't worth it at all. Next time something pushes your buttons, picture yourself a week from now, looking back. If you don't think it'll matter, then let it go now. Think about it. If anger solved problems, all the people who yell and slam tables would be the happiest people in the world. But since that's clearly not the case, the smartest choice will always be to channel that energy into something that actually matters. So the next time your mind wants to hit the gas without brakes, remember, you are the one in control. 3. Calm is not for the weak, it's for winners. Picture a battlefield. The ground shakes with every step, the air is thick with tension, screams echo in every direction, and the clash of swords sounds like the world is breaking in two. Everything seems out of control. In the middle of the chaos, soldiers are running. Some attacking without thinking, others shouting orders no one hears. It's total disorder. And then through the noise, he appears. A warrior who doesn't rush, who doesn't raise his voice, who neither runs nor retreats. He walks with purpose. His breathing is steady, his gaze calm. He doesn't get swept up in the panic around him. He observes, he calculates, and when he acts, he does it with precision, not out of impulse. That's the one who commands real respect. The one who doesn't get caught up in the frenzy, but instead owns the moment. Because calm isn't cowardice. It doesn't hold him back. It guides him. It gives him power. Now think about the world we live in. These days it seems like the louder you are, the more you interrupt, the more aggressively you respond, the more right you appear. As if losing your cool was some kind of power move. But what if it's the opposite? What if real strength lies in staying calm, in not letting yourself be dragged down, in not giving the performance everyone's expecting, in standing firm while everything around you shakes? Marcus Aurelius understood this better than anyone. He wrote, "The best answer to anger is silence." And he didn't say that out of weakness. He said it because he knew that when you react with rage, you hand over control. Staying silent doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means you're choosing not to feed the fire. Real strength is in restraint, in observing calmly, and only acting when it truly matters. And Simon Sinek says something similar today. True leaders aren't the ones who shout or try to dominate with force. They're the ones who stay composed in the middle of chaos. The person who, when everyone else is panicking, keeps a clear head and knows what to do. Whether it's in a company or in your own home, the one who stays calm ends up leading the rest. Why? Because they inspire confidence. Their calm is contagious. And that, my friend, isn't something you're born with. It's something you train, you practice, and it changes everything. Now picture this situation. You're negotiating with your landlord to fix the damp spots on the ceiling, and you see him starting to get defensive. Your first instinct might be to raise your voice, cut him off, show your anger. But that's where the difference shows. Because if you stay calm, speak firmly without losing your temper, you don't just keep your dignity, you gain authority. You don't come off as weak. You come off as someone who knows exactly what they want and how to get it. So how do you train that kind of calm, the kind that really matters when things get messy? First, take strategic pauses. When a situation heats up, don't rush to respond. Give yourself a few seconds. Sometimes a short silence carries more power than a long speech. It makes the other person stop, rethink, and realize they're not in control of you. Second, use the rhythm of your voice. You don't need to yell to be heard. In fact, the louder you yell, the more you lose credibility. But someone who speaks slowly, clearly, and without hesitation, that person has everyone's attention. Calm has its own kind of volume. And third, practice the Stoic gaze, the one that doesn't respond with anger or disdain or fear. It simply watches, steady and composed. Because when someone tries to provoke you and you meet them with that calm stare, completely unfazed, they're disarmed.
They expected an outburst. What they get is your peace. Remember, that warrior who moves silently through chaos isn't weak. He's the most dangerous one of all. Calm is a strategy. It's a sign of power. It's what separates those who just react from those who lead. And if you master that calm, if you learn to hold on to it even when everything shakes, then you're already winning, no matter the situation. For life isn't fair, so what? Yeah, I know. It doesn't sound nice. But let's be honest from the start. Life isn't fair. Period. It doesn't matter how hard you work, how kind you are, or how much you sacrifice. Sometimes someone doing half of what you do gets all the credit. And while you're giving it your all, someone else gets ahead by cheating, by luck, or through connections. Is it unfair? Absolutely. Can you change it? I'm afraid not. So what do we do with that? Because I promise you this, staying stuck in anger, in complaints or frustration is only going to make your mind more chaotic. And as you've seen by now, if there's one thing you do need to train, it's your ability to stay calm when everything around you seems unfair. Not long ago, I heard the story of a woman named Marta. She had been working as an admin assistant at a company for over 10 years. Responsible, punctual, always on top of everything. She applied for an internal promotion. She had all the experience in the world, but they gave it to someone who had only been there for 6 months and just happened to be related to the boss. Marta felt invisible, and yes, it hurt. A lot. But what could she do? Ask life to be fair? Get angry with her boss, make a scene, lock herself away at home and sulk? Of course not. Marta understood something Epictetus made clear centuries ago. Don't ask for things to happen as you wish. Wish for them to happen as they do and you'll find peace. That phrase wasn't just a quote, it became her compass. Because asking life to be fair is like getting mad at the rain for making you wet. You can complain all you want, but you're still getting soaked. Or you can open your umbrella, accept what is, and keep walking. Marta didn't stay stuck in what she couldn't change. She chose to act from a place of calm, and that's when her path started to shift. Today she works at a company where her work is valued, where she's even training new employees. The injustice she went through didn't magically disappear, but she didn't let it steal her peace of mind. Now put yourself in her shoes. Or better yet, think of a moment when something similar happened to you. Maybe it was a scholarship you worked your heart out for, a project you poured yourself into, a conversation where you were honest, only to end up losing. Your mind wants to explode. It tells you it's not fair, that you should scream, that you deserve better. But if you let yourself get dragged into that storm, you lose clarity, you lose energy, and you lose control. So here's my challenge to you. Try the acceptance challenge. Just for one day, try not to complain about anything. Not the traffic, not your boss, not the weather. Just observe, accept, and focus on what you can control. It might sound silly, but trust me, your mind will notice. It'll stop chasing things that aren't up to you and start calming down. And if acceptance feels too hard, believe in something that helps you let go of control. Call it whatever you want, universe, destiny, life itself. Or if you want something more fun, picture having a Stoic GPS guiding you. Turn right, your boss was just unfair. Keep going straight, don't stop. Trust, it all makes sense. Sometimes we just need to believe there's a plan behind the chaos to keep our peace intact. My friend, if there's one thing that will help you train your mind, it's learning to stop resisting what you can't change. Life doesn't always treat you the way you deserve, but you can always choose how to respond. Now tell me in the comments, what's one situation you went through that felt completely unfair? And how did you handle it? We're all here to read your story, support you, and grow together. Because this community is also a space to share and to rise. 5. Losing control is your choice. You've probably been there. You're calmly waiting in line at the supermarket and suddenly, someone cuts in front of you like it's nothing. They look at you, smile like everything's fine, and move right ahead. What do? Yell at them? Boil with rage? Or do you take a breath, stay calm, and decide that this isn't going to ruin your day? A study from Yale University found that when a person believes they have control over their emotions, they automatically react more calmly under stress. In other words, it's not magic. It's not that some people are born with superpowers to stay cool. It's that they choose to think differently. It's a decision. And yes, you can choose it too. Because no one, absolutely no one, has the power to take away your peace unless you hand it over. Epictetus put it plainly. Remember, it's not enough to be insulted or harmed. You must believe you've been harmed. Meaning it's not the comment, the look, or the gesture that hurts you. It's what you do with it in your mind. See, it all starts there, in how you decide to interpret what's happening. And that's where your mind can either betray you or become your strongest ally. Because if you're not trained, your mind reacts for you. The amygdala, our primitive danger detector, kicks in and boom, you're snapping back, throwing sarcasm, or shutting down completely. But if you take the reins, you can pause that impulse before it wrecks your day. Here's a technique that saved me more than once. I call it emotional airplane mode. Just like when you switch your phone to airplane mode and everything disconnects, you can do the same with your mind. Picture this. Instead of reacting instantly, you hit an invisible button and everything goes quiet for a moment. That pause gives you just enough space to decide, does this even deserve a response, or should I just move on? Trust me, I've tried it. At family meals, there's always someone who has to comment on how I look. Have you lost weight? You look tired. You should eat more. It used to get to me. Made me uncomfortable. I'd spend the whole day replaying those words. But now, when I start feeling that reaction building up inside, I hit emotional airplane mode. I breathe. I stay quiet. And I don't let that comment decide how I feel. And the best part? It works. The person on the other side is waiting for your reaction, but you decide not to give it. Here's something else that really helps. Ask yourself a simple but powerful question. Do I really want to give this person control over my mood? Just asking that kicks in a more rational, conscious part of your brain, and that's when calm starts to win. Think about it. If we lost our cool every time someone annoyed us, we'd be living with the blood pressure of a volcano. And you're not here to explode, you're here to grow. So next time someone tries to push your buttons, remember this: losing your temper isn't inevitable, it's a choice. 6. Connect with your body and calm your mind. You're in the kitchen, your head spinning with 1,000 things. The rice is boiling, your phone won't stop buzzing. The kids are screaming, And in the background, email notifications keep coming in. Your breathing speeds up. Puff, puff, puff. Your chest tightens, your hands start to sweat, and you feel like you're about to explode. The worst part, nothing truly serious has even happened. But inside, it feels like a storm is about to hit. And there you are, stuck. Your mind is off on its own, jumping from one thought to the next like it's trapped on a roller coaster. You don't even know why you're so anxious, and you definitely don't know how to stop it. But what if you knew how to control your mind in that exact moment? What if you had a reset button that gave you back control just when everything feels like too much? Here's the secret: move. It's not random. It's not something I just made up. A study published in The Lancet Psychiatry showed that regular physical activity reduces the likelihood of experiencing severe stress by 43%. 43. That's huge, right? It's basically like having an invisible shield against anxiety. And it makes sense. When you're stuck in your mind, what you need isn't more thinking. It's to come back to your body. Feel your feet on the ground, breathe deeply, move your muscles, step out of the mental whirlwind through something as simple as walking. Seneca knew this centuries ago. He recommended going for walks to clear the mind and think more calmly. And he said a line that sums it up perfectly. No wind is favorable to the one who doesn't know where they're going. What does that mean? That when you're caught in a mental storm, you can't expect the wind to take you anywhere good if you're not even holding the wheel. But when you move, even just one step, you're already changing the direction of the wind. So, my friend, if one day your mind starts dragging you through stress and tension, don't just sit there chewing on your thoughts. Get up and move. Even if it's just for a few minutes. You can go for a mindful walk. No phone, no music, just you, your steps, and the world around you. Pay attention to the trees, the sky, the sounds. It's like slowly finding your way back to yourself. Another option? Shake it off. Yes, really. It's called shaking. And it's all about moving your arms, legs, neck, freely, like you're shaking the stress off your body. It might feel silly at first, but trust me, when you're done, it's like taking off a heavy coat made of cement. And if you're short on time, stretch like a cat. You've seen them when they wake up, right? They stretch out long, yawn, and move every part of their body. Do the same. Stretch your arms, your neck, your back. In just 2 minutes, you can feel more relief than even 10 positive thoughts could give you. Because look, your mind might be in crisis, screaming that everything's falling apart. But if you move your body, at least the rest of you won't panic. And on tough days, that's a win. Remember this: when your mind is in chaos, stop thinking and start moving. You'll feel the difference. Because in the end, only calm will take you where you truly want to go. And that calm doesn't always start in your head. A lot of times it starts in your feet. 7. Calm is always an option. Has it ever happened to you? Everything seems fine and suddenly your mind starts acting suspicious, like something's off. You say, "I feel calm today," and then a sneaky thought shows up. "I probably forgot something. This is too strange. Something bad's about to happen." And just like that, in seconds, you go from peace to a wave of irrational anxiety, like your mind, instead of enjoying the calm, is afraid of it. A lot of people think staying calm depends on everything going well. If traffic flows, if the boss is in a good mood, if no one disagrees with me, then yes, I allow myself to be at peace. But what if calm wasn't something you're given when the world behaves? What if it's a decision you can make, even when everything around you is falling apart? Seneca understood this so deeply, it's like he lived with an invisible shield. He said, "The more power something has over you, the weaker you are in front of it." And he didn't say it to sound wise, he had lived it. He advised emperors, witnessed betrayal, exile, death threats, and still, he kept choosing calm. Can you picture Seneca with an emotional switch built into his toga? Someone tried to provoke him, and with total composure, he'd hit his inner serene mode button. No drama, no explosions, just control. Today, psychology has a name for that: emotional regulation. And no, it's not a trait you're born with. It's a skill you train. Those people who always seem calm, the ones who don't lose it even when things go south, they weren't born with a special chip. They've practiced. They've messed up plenty of times, but they've learned how to respond instead of react. And yes, we all know someone like that. That friend who never loses it, who in the middle of an argument calmly sips their coffee and responds like it's nothing. Sometimes it even feels like they live on another frequency. And you think, how do they do it? Well, they've probably figured out that calm isn't a reward, it's a choice, and losing it helps nothing. One thing that's helped me is something I call the emotional plan B. You know what it is? It's deciding in advance how I want to react when a tense situation shows up. I know, it's not easy. There will always be something or someone trying to push your buttons. But if you've already got your emotional plan in place, you're much more likely to keep your cool. You can also create your own calm zone. It doesn't have to be a physical space with candles and Zen music, though if that's your thing, go for it. It can be something as simple as listening to a calming song, going for a walk, reading for a while, writing down what you feel. It's your mental rest space, a place you can return to when life gets too loud. And there's a phrase I repeat to myself whenever I feel like everything's about to overflow. I can be part of the problem or part of the solution. I say it to choose, right in that moment, whether I want to add tension or bring in peace. And the moment I choose peace, everything starts to shift. My friend, your mind will try to pull you in every direction. It'll push you to react, to yell, to worry about things that haven't even happened. But only you decide whether or not you play that game. Only you choose if you let yourself get carried away, or if you plant your feet on the ground. And if calm is an option, if it's always there, waiting for you, then why not start choosing it more often? Because the more you choose it, the easier it gets to return to it. And the more you return, the freer you become. 8. You are not what happens to you, you are what you do. My friend, people can betray you, you can lose your job, you can lose everything you have. But what truly matters isn't what happens, it's what you do next. Because there's something no one can ever take from you, no matter how hard life hits. Your control over your mind. That's your strength, and that's where everything begins. Let me tell you a story that's sure to inspire you. It's about Brian Albacete Oliver. Maybe you know him as Brianitor. From the moment he was born, it seemed like everything was against him. Spina bifida, degenerative muscle atrophy, and a wheelchair as his constant companion since childhood. With that alone, anyone would have thought his life was limited, defined by what he couldn't do. But Brian chose something different. He chose to fight with what he had. He chose to laugh at limits. He chose to dream big. One day, he turned on a camera, opened TikTok, and started creating. And no, he didn't do it looking for pity. He did it with humor, with creativity, with authenticity. Today, millions of people follow him. And not only that, he stepped into the world of cinema, earned the respect of an entire industry, and ended up nominated for a Goya Award as Best New Actor. Do you see it? He didn't choose his body, he didn't choose the obstacles, but he did choose how to respond. And that decision changed everything. Brian is not what happened to him. He's what he did with it. And that, my friend, is what you can do too. Because that's where the real power of a trained mind begins, the kind of mind that refuses to give up. Epictetus said it clearly. You cannot choose what happens to you, but you can choose how you respond. And that changes everything. Because if what happens to you is what defines you, then you're doomed by every mistake, every loss, every bad season. But if what defines you is what you do, then there's always a way forward, always a path to move on. Now think about this. If bad experiences truly defined who we are, we'd all be the villains in our own stories. With what we've lived through, what people have said or done to us, we'd be throwing things out the window like in a soap opera. But of course not, because what really defines you is what you choose to do after the chaos. Picture this. Your best friend, the one you trusted most, goes and shares a secret they swore to keep. one that leaves you exposed, one that even costs you your relationship. The world crashes around you, rage, disappointment, unanswered questions. And right there, your mind starts firing off thoughts in every direction. But if you let them carry you away, you'll only make the pain worse. You'll yell, seek revenge, shut down, and stay stuck. But there's another way, and it starts with a pen and paper. First, write down 3 things you could do in that situation. Doesn't matter if they seem small or even silly. The simple act of looking for solutions pulls you out of victim mode and into action mode. Also, stop labeling what happens to you. Sometimes what looks like a disaster today is what pushes you to do something incredible tomorrow. That friend's betrayal, for example, might be the very push you needed to focus on yourself, to grow, to surround yourself with people who truly have your back. So every time something hurts, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? You can't let your mind trap you in what happened or in what didn't go as planned. So now tell me, if you're not defined by what happens to you but by what you do, what story are you going to write with what you've got right now? Because that story, your story, starts the moment you decide not to give up. And to do that, you need a strong mind, a steady mind, and a calm one. 9. Learn to breathe and you'll master your mind. Did you know that the way you breathe can be the difference between freaking out or staying calm? And no, it's not magic. It's pure science. The strange part is, we do it every single day, non-stop, but almost never pay attention to how we're doing it. And that, my friend, is where the trap lies. Patrick McKeown, one of the world's leading breathing experts and author of The Oxygen Advantage, explains something simple but powerful. Most of us breathe wrong, too fast, too shallow. And what does that do? It activates our sympathetic nervous system as if we were face to face with a lion, even if all that's in front of us is an email from the boss or an awkward conversation. It's like your body screams maximum alert for things that don't deserve it. And when that happens, the mind loses control. It speeds up, gets confused, blows everything out of proportion. But if you control your breathing, then you can start controlling your mind too. Marcus Aurelius made it clear in his Meditations, if you are troubled by something external, it is not the thing itself that disturbs you, but your judgment of it, and you can change that judgment at any time. And the fastest way to change that judgment, believe me, isn't through thinking, it's through breathing. Because when your breath is calm, your judgment calms too. The other day I was listening to a podcast by Jefferson Fisher, lawyer, communicator, and emotional management expert, and I was hooked by what he shared. He talked about the importance of stopping and breathing before responding in tense situations, especially in courtrooms. He explained how lawyers often ask sneaky questions, the kind that rattle you and push you to react instantly. For example, imagine they ask, "So, would you agree that you saw the car parking? But since you were in a hurry, you decided not to wait and hit it." The usual response would be to jump in and say, "No, that's not true." But Jefferson suggests something different. Pause, breathe, look them in the eye, and then calmly reply, "No, that's not true," but with a calm, steady voice. No rush. See the difference? It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. The one who breathes and takes their time is the one who commands the room. And that's exactly what you can do. Next time you're in the middle of an argument, a tense meeting, or even when everything seems to be crashing down, do what Fisher says. Breathe before you respond. Give yourself 2 seconds. Those 2 seconds can change everything. And if you're at home feeling overwhelmed, your mind spinning in 1,000 directions, here's a technique used by many clinical psychologists to calm the mind. The 4-7-8 breath. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 7, exhale slowly for 8. Repeat the cycle 4 times. It's like putting out a fire from the inside. It relaxes your body and gives your mind back its control. You can't let your mind toss you around like a leaf in the wind every time something happens. Only calm will take you where you really want to go. And breathing is the doorway to that calm. So here's a challenge for you. You don't need anything. You don't even have to move. Just breathe consciously for 1 minute. Inhale slowly, exhale even slower. And then tell me in the comments, how do you feel? Did you notice the shift? Because that small action might just be the first step toward taking full control of your life. Then don't obsess over the past or the future. Being stuck between what already happened and what might happen is like trying to drive while staring only in the rearview mirror, or being so focused on the GPS that you forget to look at the road. You can't move forward like that. You'll either crash into what's right in front of you or get completely lost. And the worst part, you don't even enjoy the ride. You're just tense, stuck in your head, trying to control the uncontrollable. Marcus Aurelius didn't sugarcoat it. Man lives only in the present. The rest is either gone or hasn't happened yet. And this was someone with an entire empire on his shoulders. Now imagine for a second if Marcus Aurelius had gotten stuck on every decision he made. What if I shouldn't have sent those troops? What if that law wasn't the best call? He'd still be sitting on his imperial couch paralyzed by doubt while Rome crumbled around him. Most people live exactly like that, in the mental loop of what if? What if I'd chosen another career? What if it happens again? What if I lose everything? But my friend, what's the point of worrying about what you can't change or what hasn't even happened yet? The mind is incredibly skilled at leading us down roads that go nowhere. And if you don't train it, it'll drag you around in circles all day long. That's where anxiety and sadness show up. Anxiety about what might go wrong tomorrow. Sadness about what didn't go right yesterday. And while your mind is busy jumping back and forth, you're missing the only thing you can actually control: what's happening right now. Let me share something that might sound familiar. You're overwhelmed. Your mom insists on organizing your child's birthday her way, like you don't have a say. You're frustrated, holding back all day. Then, on impulse, you grab your phone to vent. You write a long message to your partner spilling everything you're feeling, but you send it to your mom by mistake. 1 second, it's done. You see she's online, she's read it. Now your head won't stop. Why did I do that? What if she's furious? What if this ruins everything? You're stuck, but not because of the message. You're stuck because of your mind, and that's the moment when you need to return to the present, because obsessing over what just happened won't unsend the message. The only thing that can actually help you is focusing on what you can do now. How do you do that? Start with the mental anchor technique. Carry a small object with you, like a bracelet, a coin, or a stone in your pocket. Every time your mind starts drifting to the past or the future, touch that object. Let it be your physical reminder that you're here, now, and this is the only moment that matters. Second, try the 1-minute reset. Just 1 minute. Focus only on what's in front of you. Notice what you're doing. Listen to what's around you. Feel your breath. It's like pressing reset. It helps break the loop and bring you back to center. And finally, ask yourself, what can I do to fix this? Not to justify yourself, not to spiral into regret, but to act. If there's something you can do, do it. If not, move on. Don't let your mind drag you by the hand through every fear and regret it can invent, because only calm will take you where you really want to go. And calm lives right here, in the present. Now get ready, because what's coming next is probably not what you're expecting. It's not about advanced mental techniques or deep philosophy. It's something much simpler but powerful. Something you can do anytime with whatever's right in front of you. And yes, it might be exactly what you need when your mind feels like a mess. 11. Use your hands and clear your head. My friend, let me ask you a simple question. When was the last time you actually did something with your hands? And no, I'm not talking about typing on your phone or tapping on a keyboard. Of course not. I mean something real. Touching, shaping, building. When was the last time you cooked without rushing? Drew something without worrying if it looked good? Fixed something around the house with your own 2 hands? These days, we live in our heads. Constantly. Thoughts, notifications, more thoughts. And honestly, how wouldn't you feel overwhelmed if you never step out of there? But there's a way out, and it's not in books or social media. It's in your hands. As Epictetus would say, don't explain your philosophy, live it. And living it often means doing, getting out of the loop of overthinking and into action. He himself believed that worry is defeated with movement, because if you stay stuck in your thoughts, all you're doing is digging a deeper hole. But when you do something physical, something real, you're sending a message to your mind, I'm the one in charge here. And it's not just Stoicism saying this. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, yes, the one with the impossible name, discovered something fascinating in his research on flow state. That moment when time disappears, the mind quiets down, and all that exists is what you're doing. And do you know what kinds of activities usually lead to that deep, peaceful state? Simple things like painting, cooking, shaping clay, handwriting. Activities that pull you into the present because they demand attention and movement. That's why, during World War II, soldiers did it. Yes, really. In the middle of chaos, constant fear, and daily tension, many of them spent their downtime doing manual work, carving wood, fixing objects, even sewing by hand. It might have looked like nothing, almost childish, but it had a deep effect. It wasn't just a distraction. It was a way to find stability when everything around them felt unstable. And the result? Those who engaged in these activities showed far fewer symptoms of PTSD, less anxiety, more clarity, more control. While others were stuck in memories or quietly falling apart, they found peace in something as simple as creating with their hands. I mean it. When your mind is a mess, try the paper therapy. You don't need to be an artist. Draw, color, doodle anything while your favorite music plays, and you'll see without even noticing how you start stepping out of the mental fog. Or try something even simpler. Modeling clay. Yes, just like when you were a kid. Shape it, squeeze it, roll it into balls, whatever. Your hands take over and your brain relaxes. Honestly, if the Stoics had had modeling clay, they might have been even wiser. Another idea. Get into the kitchen, but no phone, no recipe. Just you, the ingredients, and your hands. Knead, chop, mix. Make it a ritual. A way to come back to yourself. Because when you're right there, elbow deep in flour or peeling carrots, you're not thinking about bills or drama. You're present. You're alive. And that brings calm. My friend, you can't let your mind drag you down dark roads without giving yourself the chance to stop. Because yes, only calm will take you where you want to go. And sometimes, that calm doesn't come from meditating or thinking harder. Sometimes it comes from moving your hands, doing something tangible, connecting to reality through your body. So here's your final challenge. Next time you feel like your mind is on the edge of collapse, use your hands. Create something. Draw, cook, fix, write by hand. Who knows? Maybe as you clear your mind, you'll discover a hidden talent. And if not, at the very least, you'll have reclaimed something so many people have forgotten. That to calm your mind, sometimes all you need is to touch life with your own hands. Training your mind to stay calm isn't something that happens overnight. It's a journey, a choice you make every time you decide not to react with anger, not to be dragged down by fear, not to get lost in inner chaos. Because every time you choose calm, you're choosing freedom. You're taking control of your life from the inside out. And that, my friend, is what makes the difference between living at the mercy of everything or living with real power. If you've made it this far, write it in the comments. I choose to live in calm because that choice changes everything. That way, I'll know who the true Stoic warriors are who made it to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give this video a like so you don't miss out on what's coming next. I also invite you to check out our playlist, which you'll see on the screen. It's packed with ideas, stories, and advice to help you navigate life with more wisdom and confidence. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications and stay tuned for more.